So yes, welcome to the Wealth and Wellness Podcast once more. Here with my guest and co-host, Tree Spicer, right? And so, how are you doing today?
I'm doing peachy keen. I'm doing as we say.
Hmm.
It's 2026. I'm excited for the year and I'm not having it any other way. So
Mm, I hear that. I hear that. That's a good, if you will, attitude or disposition about it. The new year, that's a whole thing. And so, have you done anything in particular around vision boarding or planning yet?
so this is gonna sound like crazy, I guess.
Mm,
But I'm not doing a vision board this year. I'm not doing a vision board this year. I am doing quarterly planning and annual goal setting. I'm in the process of doing that now. But I think for me, what has happened is in the past, I can get very zealous and take on a whole bunch of stuff because now I've spoken it and I've laid it out there. So now I'm going to go and manifest all this stuff. And where I am right now is really like being spirit led, being grounded and guided and balanced, and sticking true to what I know has worked over time because it's proven itself by the things that come to fruition on the vision board and the things
mm.
that don't, right? Because some of that stuff is just us stuff, right? There's some of the board that is very spirit led and is in strong alignment with where we are personally and professionally. But then there's other stuff on the board that's like us stuff, right? And I don't want to get caught up in the semantics this year. So
Hmm.
I'm working on that. But the thing that I will say to everybody is clean your baseboards. Clean. Everybody want to make a vision board, but nobody want to clean the baseboard at the bottom of the wall. Clean your baseboards. And it sounds funny when I say it, but I'll give you the background really quick.
Hmm.
The reason why I say clean your baseboards is because we love to look at filling our cups, but it's really important to embrace the seasons of emptying out. And when we look at the universe, right? When we look at the world, look at Earth. Mother Earth is always giving us, leaving clues. Every quarter, she shifts, she changes. That's why they're called seasons. Well, with every shift and change, she sheds and she lets go of some things. She cleanses in one way or another. And so it's really important for us to do that. Start the year off right. Yes, I know that some people are like, well, I cleaned my house or I washed my dishes or I did all the clothes, but clean your baseboards. Start off very clean, very healthy. Being in alignment with cleanliness is like also being in alignment with our internal godliness. And
Mm.
I believe we are divine and powerful. And this is a great, great way to reset, get rid of things that no longer serve us, right? Those words laying around, all the old journals and things we spoke over that some of it we don't even want anymore. We don't even want that no more, right? It's still absorbing power in the atmosphere, right? All these things
Right.
matter. And then it's a great way to give back too, because you find so many things that you're like, this could bless somebody else or help somebody else. So that's what I'm
I
doing.
hear that. I
What you up
hear that.
to?
Thanks for sharing that. For us, and I'm saying us because one of the things that came up is I have a financial wellness workshop that I do at my church once a month, and in December we started looking at how did the year go? What are some of the things that we want to do better and more of in the future for this coming year? And one of the things was talking more as a family about the finances, right? Talking more as a family in some respects, period, too. One, we have a teenager, and then we have the two adults, and we have the babies. And so, the teenager can do his own thing. The adults, we could do our own thing at times, right? And honestly, when it comes to playing towards strengths, it oftentimes means that I'm the one that's working on the finances. I'm the one that's okay, checking this, checking that, do. Okay, well, this is where we're at, this is where we're not at. And I know that I want us to be more connected in that area. And so that's something that came up both the first week of the Christmas break and the second week, and just started wanting to put together, honestly, like almost like a workshop that we could just do on a regular basis where we can have some icebreakers, we can have a good time, we can also talk about finance is one, but also anything else, right? So, for instance, one thing that happened last Saturday, we went out. We had a plan to go to Discovery Bay Museum, or Bay Area Discovery Museum, and it was a horrible it was a horrible traffic situation. I don't know if you heard about the king tides, but we got stuck in basically on that side of the bridge. The water was just everywhere it wasn't supposed to be. It was such that we really couldn't get on the freeway when we wanted to get on the freeway, and the cars were just piling up, right? I mean, it was just like if you wanted to make this left, you just added about 20 more minutes, right? Oh,
Right, right.
you thought you was gone because Matt said, and then you checked Waze. I'm talking about little, like we'll be going somewhere and you just start seeing police being like, no, we just got to block all this off. We're like, but it said,
But it said I could. That was
yeah,
40 seconds ago. Y'all missed
right.
your 40-second window.
Yeah, so it was super crazy, but all that to say is I had created a presentation. I planned to talk about it when we got back home, and the babies were asleep. We never got back home. The babies slept in the car while we were just stuck in traffic. And while we were in there, we talked about some of the things around finances. We talked about we did a couple of icebreakers literally in the minivan, and then we went ahead and had a brief conversation just about like things that had occurred that rubbed us the wrong way. And we just had a situation. We had a situation at Discovery Museum, and one thing that we've been struggling and working on is our son's relationship with our daughter. She's 2, she's tripping, but he's 14 and he's tripping, right? So there's hello, right? So there's like this like back and forth. And there was a moment in which we were just recognizing like we're trying to do one thing and they're having a moment. And I yell out like stop, and he just shuts down. He doesn't want to talk, he doesn't want to eat lunch anymore. But we had an opportunity to talk about that in the car.
Ah.
I know that it's just like, what do you want to eat? But you know, when you mad, right? You be like, look, I don't even, you know what I'm
No, I
saying?
get it. I was actually given the oh yeah, he was mad face because I always want to
Mm,
eat unless I'm mad. If I'm sad, I'll
right.
eat. If I'm happy, I'll eat. If I'm pissed off,
Yeah.
I don't
Forget the
want you or your
food.
food or any. I don't want anything.
Anything. Exactly. I don't want anything. So he was having one of those moments, but we got to have that conversation in the car as part of the conversation that again I partly was thinking we could just do around finances, but knowing that those things are going to happen, right? Whether it's that morning or it's a Wednesday or it's a Thursday or it's Wednesday and Thursday, right? We're going to have those moments where it goes, we should just touch back on that. And so it's been so my plan, if you will, for the week, or rather for the year, is just to get into us having more conversations about our plan, us having more conversations about how we're doing, and like I said, doing our best to get on the same page. Fortunately, we've managed to do some things, again, just playing to our strengths, but I know that we could do better if we were on the same page and we communicated.
No, that makes total sense, and I love the fact that you called that into conversation because that is one of the things that's on my goal list for this year. So when we're talking about setting goals and like, so I'm not doing the vision board, but I am doing certain other things. Like I'm in the process of creating this, and I want it to be so simple so we can just chart it out every month. But this this budget calendar
Yeah.
for myself and my partner. And it is the kind of thing that's sensitive. I'll be very transparent. By the time by the time this airs, we may or may not have even had the conversation because it's so new, right? That's how new
Mhm.
this will be for me. Like we don't currently we don't currently chart finances. We talk about things like we're an open book, but charting it, having intentional discussions like, hey, let's have our monthly budget check-in, right? It'll be new and it'll be in addition to our emotional wellness check-ins that we do.
Mhm.
Which tend to happen weekly. Well, hey, how you doing? What's going on with you? What's under the surface? Let's look under the hood. But it is very sensitive, and I'll just say all these conversations that are becoming common nature now, or that are becoming kind of mainstream or even trending, because now a lot of people are talking about these things on social and other platforms. We didn't grow up with this kind of stuff. We didn't grow up like anybody who is, if you're over 25, you ain't grow up with nobody saying, let's sit down and all talk about our budget as a family. It was like, the bill gonna get paid when I said it's gonna get paid. You go to your little friend house and find some internet. Like, like it was more of like explanations and dismissiveness than it,
Mm-hmm.
than forward conversation. So all this stuff is new to us. And so I'm just giving myself grace to not feel overwhelmed, to be open minded, to learn and to listen, and to be
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable enough to speak the truth. And we talk again, it's always so trending, keep it real, be your authentic self, let it hang out there. But the truth is, most people don't really do that in the most pertinent ways that move our
Mm-hmm.
lives forward towards being our best. We can be very transparent about trauma bonding, about dysfunction, about things that seem popular, like pop culture, about things that are trending, or things that seem like a lot of people have it in common with us. But when it comes down to being vulnerable in our interpersonal lives and having conversations that really put us in places of really being open minded enough to give and receive in ways that look for the greater good in our situations, it's hard. It is hard. So I'm looking forward
That's
to
hot.
this year and doing these things. And I think that right there, just knowing the way that I really want to move in intention this year and the goals that I have, and how I want to see some of those past vision board ideologies, those big, huge ideas come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have the energy. Like, I know that's that right there. That's showing up vulnerable, Jermaine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the most vulnerable way, like, okay, let's stick to this budget, or okay, I went out to eat and I didn't tell you. It's like, I don't want to be telling. I don't have to report. The rest of the world's like, I ain't got to report to no man. I ain't
Right,
got
right,
to. I'm a
right.
man. I ain't got to tell a woman. But
Yeah.
so I think that is where the most of my energy is going to go this year, towards just showing up, being vulnerable with myself in the rawest way, for chin checking and for
Mm-hmm.
accountability and growth, to do what's right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's important. It's absolutely important. And to your point, it's very uncomfortable, even if it's something that we would, one, say we really want, and two, would suggest other people do it, or three, advocate for it. Say, man, like, I would love for this to happen. And then when it starts happening, I'm like, dude, this is way harder than I thought it was gonna be. Because yeah, it changes, and circumstances in life also complicated. It could be a smooth start, we could have a good time, and we could go, oh man, let's do it, I got you, okay, I'll take care of that, okay, I won't buy this. And next thing you know, something happens where it's like, okay, now we gotta now I gotta be transparent and not just honest. Now I gotta keep it a bug about, like, either what I really wanted to do with the money, or like what changed this week, because things be changing. And so just really taking those times and those moments to um talk about how we're really doing. One thing I wanted to bring up, we talked a little bit yesterday about it, um a little bit, but I was speaking to, and it does relate to this subject. I was speaking to, I was part of a call, and the call, the person said, when you're talking this year and you're talking about what you plan to do and what you want to do, make sure you're talking to people who have faith. Make sure that you have people who are walking by faith in the way that you want to walk by faith too. Because if you're talking to people who are walking by fear and walking in fear, you're probably not going to get the insight and the support and the encouragement, whatever that looks like, that you are looking for. And it hit me so hard, because I know, and I'm sure you do too, that you can't share you can't share everything with everybody you want to share everything with. And I'll use a light example, which was when we went to Egypt. I didn't tell my mama. Actually, I didn't tell my mom or my dad. I I, I told them we were going to Washington D.C.
Oh, not only wait, friend, because not only did you not tell them, you lied. You lied. You know
Well,
I'm
this
gonna
is the
clock that T for
thing.
the hood every
This
time.
is the thing.
But go
I
ahead.
had to lie. And let me say this. This is not the first time. But I had to lie because I knew, and this is for the people who know. I knew if I told my mom we were going to Egypt, she would have lost it. And we could, lost it not in the sense of like, she gonna go off and she's going to, ruin the trip or something like that. But that I knew she wouldn't be okay. I knew she wouldn't be okay. Not that I've been to Egypt or like we talked about it before. I just knew. I tell you this. So this first day we get there, we take some pictures of the hotel because that doesn't say anything. We're just like, look at the hotel, and honestly, the hotel like was like super Egypty, so it was like interesting. Like that's in Washington. It was like like King Tut, right? It was hilarious.
Oh my God.
So, but the second day was the pyramids. So I took a picture of the pyramids, and they were like, she was like, where? How they do that in DC, right? And then I said it, right? I said, we're actually in Egypt. We're gonna be here for like a week, wish us luck, blah, blah, blah. Everything is fine. I had to kind of do that caveat. But the reality was when we returned, she was like, you don't know how mad I was. And I was like, I do. First of all, I do. That's why I didn't tell you before the trip. And she said, if you would have told me, I would have been like, absolutely not. You know how dangerous it is over there. Do you know how they feel about Americans? How close is it to Israel and Palestine, right? What's going to be happening? What's happening right now? All that stuff. And basically confirmed that was the best idea. Don't tell me. I don't need to know. Or tell me later and I've got to deal with it. But to that very point, it's very real, and I've experienced it in other ways that sometimes, given your passion, zeal, interest, your willingness to take a certain risk, there's some things you can't tell everybody you want to tell.
Now, first of all, y'all get into this story. If y'all haven't heard how Jermaine just spilled the tea, okay, about lying to his mama, get into this part of the story. Okay, make sure you rewind to right before this to get into this. Okay, but second of all, the other part of the hot tea, because it's a whole nother dose of hot, is that not only sometimes will people not be supportive, but they'll be angry that they're not going, angry that they don't have control in the situation, or angry that you want something that they can't see for themselves. And anger doesn't always show up outright. Sometimes it can be covert, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
people being very curt. Now you got an attitude. Now you don't want to talk. Now it's one word answers, right? Because I'm doing something that you think is like something I shouldn't be doing, right? And in my experience, what I will say is I have definitely struggled. And it's the year of Tea with Tree, which is a segment I do every chance I get, where I just tell my business or get in other people's business. I'm going to tell my business that I struggle with my biological family in a lot of ways because I often feel unsupported about the things that I want to do, but not just in a way that can be dismissive of like, not showing up to support, but kind of like what you went through with mama, where it's like, no, I have all these reasons why you don't need to do that. But even furthermore, kind of like this unspoken anger or resentment, or like this who she thinks she is. And I mean, in my mind, and apparently in the world's and God's, because I keep being blessed, I'm exactly who I think I am. So
Right, right.
if I think it and it's a huge idea, I can do it. And what I had to really learn is that my problem, though, right? Because this is the part that's tea. The tea is not that, oh, her family is like this and like that. No, the tea is I had to get over my expectations of how other people hold me, my dreams, my
Mm,
goals, and my plans. I had to
mm,
get over it because of the idea that you cannot tell everybody. But even if you told everybody, Jermaine, you can't take them all. You
mm-hmm.
can't take everyone. Even if you could trust people with everything that you wanted to share so broadly, you still cannot take them. So for the
Yeah,
person who's on the other end of this screen, this is your year to free yourself and to free other people of expectations that they are not designed to uphold and that don't belong on them. Free
yeah,
yourself. And what it's going to do is release you of the disappointment, the anger, the hurt and the pain of feeling like you can't trust people. You can trust them at the level where they are. You need to meet them where they are and leave them there accordingly. And that has to be done when you know you're doing it right. There's no bitterness. Oh, I'm gonna meet you
Yeah.
where you at and leave you right there. No, I'm not. I don't mean leave you alone necessarily, but I just know I can't take you everywhere, and I should be okay with that because I'm the one who was called to go, and so I'm the
Yeah.
one who has to move in purpose, and
Yeah.
really coming to that reality. Thankful I have a fiance who is so wise. He's a spiritual guru, and he was like, "You need to walk in spirit, and you need to learn to love people where they are, and let them love you how they want to love you, and stop trying to
Mm.
get them to love you how you feel you need to be loved."
Mm.
Not that you don't deserve it, but what you're doing is you're taking up too much time trying to get these people to do a thing that the universe, God, and all the powers that be is already going to send other people to do. So now you
Mm.
missing what you could get because you're spiteful about what you got. You need to
Yeah.
chill. So
Yeah.
chill. Go to Egypt. Lie if you must, like Jermaine. I ain't lying. I'm just not gonna tell. And I guess that's like where people are like, "Oh, she's so closed off." But I get what you're saying, and I think
Mm.
this is definitely the year financially to embrace that, because we also cannot help everybody. Like
Yeah.
Toya Wright was saying, like, I'm not here to get everybody out of their own financial mess. Your mess, your market.
Mm.
You can't
Mhm.
build with everybody, right? It starts with us. So these are all just
Yeah.
good principles that I think are hard for us culturally, when it comes to finances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that brings up, and I was actually going through this week a little bit to your very point, which was, um, yet you can't want people to love you the way that you want them to love you. And I have found myself, and this isn't the first time, but it's the second time where I was in a group and I was like, I'm about to leave. Now, to be clear, I've left a couple of groups. It's actually in 2005, actually. But I was on the verge of leaving this group. And then I was like, so I just took some time. I said, before I delete it, leave, and do that whole thing, let me just observe what's going on and observe how I'm feeling and so forth. But I was recognizing that I had done this about 2 years ago. And it was the same issue. The issue to that point you were just bringing up was, I feel like there are some things that we do, that I'm doing, that he's doing, that are amazing, and we're not celebrating that. We're not encouraging it. We're not acknowledging it. But there would be some things that he does, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, right? Whether or not it's amazing. And I said, you know, so I was really in my feelings about it, like, yo, I'm dropping these gems, I'm telling you about this, like blah blah blah. Like y'all should be juiced because it's this, right? Like I would imagine like this is something valuable to us. And it's not happening. And I go, I think that, and I brought this to my wife the other morning. I think I'm the problem. I said, I think that it's me because I am expecting these people to do this thing, and it's not just them, right? Clearly, this happened this other year. Maybe this is just the way it is. This is
Mm-hmm.
what happens. You get 10 people together, 15, 20, whatever, and you're going to have the stars. And the stars probably knew each other for decades, and the people who are the stars shine brighter than everybody else, not because the things that other people are doing aren't amazing, but it's what they see more readily. You know what I mean? And the way I also relate to it is that, like, my daughter, she'll do some things, um you know for instance, we're working with our 14-year-old, and he'll get mad about a thing that she did. His anger would be, let's say, a 7, and ours would be like a 3 or a 4, right? We didn't like it, but like we're fine. And I go, because if it was your baby, you would know what I'm talking about. But you don't know what it feels like to have a baby walking around your house like every day. Oh my gosh. Like literally, there's a little piece of you the whole day that's like, oh my gosh. So you don't know how this relationship feels. And so it's hard for you to relate to, oh, like she did that, but I'm not tripping. And so I relate to like, man, if this was your homie for decades, you would want to celebrate more than you would the guy that just showed up a couple weeks ago. So I'm like, okay, let me relax. Let me engage how I can engage. Let me expect what I should expect from what they've taught me what to expect. Oh, like this, they're not gonna feel that. Yes, it's amazing in that group, but over here, they're not gonna care. So just
Right.
acknowledge that, know that it's dope, accept that it's dope, maybe celebrate somewhere else, but don't expect that when you come to this particular space. And that was a humbling moment because honestly, of course, I want to point the finger at everybody else and go, "Oh, y'all are bootsy, y'all ain't got it, y'all ain't on it, y'all are da da da." I'm like, you know what? I just acknowledge different groups have different cultures, different highs and lows, different things that they focus on, and these are the things that they do over here, and this is what I should bring in this particular area.
No, and I mean, I think that that's so important to call in, especially when we're looking at two different but very important lenses that go hand in hand, which is professional engagement and networking. So, like in our businesses or our professional networks, like groups, and then also in how we manage our finances and wealth building. One thing that I tend to notice is we can get hung up on a lot of that, like where we don't feel celebrated as often, or we don't feel as understood in our processes or our achievements or plans, and where there's not total cohesion, right? So, like maybe there's different points of view in the household about how money should be spent or how important it is. Like, I think it's very important to be financially savvy. My fiance is like, money's not even real. The dollar's going away. Like, time is a figment of our imagination. We need to be focusing on, eating healthy, meditating, and loving humanity so we can all learn how to levitate once we
What
vibrate
do
at a higher
you
level. And
mean?
I'm like, yeah, but
I know
like
what you mean.
the fruit that you want to buy to have juice costs money, right? And so so if we're being picky about it, right, we could get into a space, which we don't. Luckily, we're both people who care about each other's feelings, but it's easy to get into a space where it's like, no, I'm pushing the line for what I care about, and I care about what I care about. So if you don't care about it, then now I'm going to be aggressive or passive aggressive or angry or dismissive, right? And then you can get on
Right.
what's called airplane mode. Um, and then
Mm,
I think there's also just the underlying factor that we're humans. And like you were saying about being in the group, there's not always total cohesion, but that doesn't always mean that it comes from a place of malice, right? Sometimes
right.
it can be relatability, how long we've known a person, a place, or a thing, or it can just be the way that our brains and minds work. There's so much going on in the world today. It's ridiculous to think that everybody is thinking, operating, and feeling at the same level, in the same way, at the same time that we are. That's just selfish, right? But on the flip side, I think House of Representative Jasmine Crockett said something on, she was on a talk show recently, and she said something very impactful when she was talking about like why people would vote for her if they don't necessarily like her candor or her style or understand how her intellect meshes with her relatability. She's like, there doesn't need to be total cohesion and agreement on every single thing. What should happen is that there is a common ground of morale, accountability, responsibility, and open communication, healthy communication. And that is the key to being successful. And so I would say the same thing applies when we're talking about having these experiences that other people may not want, or realizing that we have to be very intentional about who we share and how we share. And even specifically with wealth building, right? We hear it's woke, not broke. Um, when we're talking about wealth building and really honing in on how to grow our finances, I think it's important to notate that every circle we're in and every facet of life is not going to understand that process, especially when we have these unique cultural backgrounds, right, that have
Yeah.
struggled with that. So I'm talking about Black folk in particular,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, Everyone's not going to understand that in every area of your life. Your professional network may understand it more somewhat than your historical childhood neighborhood background, right? And I know for me,
Mm-hmm.
that's in particularly true. And it's very important for you to be grounded. You want, again, on the other side of the screen, I want you to walk in this year grounded in your financial and professional goals in a way that allows you to set yourself free from the images that other people think you should have, who are in the places that you aspire to be in, and free from the expectations of the people who don't choose that route. And some of that does look like harder
Mm-hmm.
boundaries around saying no about helping people. And I know Black folk are always like, I'm gonna help my people, it don't matter what. Okay, well, you put yourself in a bind because now you'll do less in the long run by not saying no up front in the short term. Sometimes those small no's really help, right? If I can say no 20 times and then turn around and buy land that can free 10 or 12 of us, were the no's worth it? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
For that one big yes. So free yourself from having to say yes all the time and give yourself the grace. Be powerful in your no, be graceful in your yes. Allow yourself to be okay with not always being understood, not having the highlight or the support. I had to get over that as well. 25 freed me, taught me that if nobody celebrates me, I'm me because of the way I'm uniquely made. And that right there is celebration enough. They ain't got to clap.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't got to
Mm-hmm.
clap because you know what? My life is the applause. My life and the things I
Mm-hmm.
do are the applause, right? And so
Yeah.
let's walk in this year being okay. The room you're in may not be cheering for you the loudest, but there's so many other rooms you'll be on and in, it don't even matter. And
Right.
then when you build the room and the seat and the table, you don't give a damn if nobody clap or applause. No way, because you you the head
Right.
Negro
Right.
in charge. So
Right, right, right. No, that's good. That's good stuff. And we definitely um have to make sure that we are celebrating ourselves and make sure that we are paying attention to what we think was dope, what we think is amazing. If no one else can necessarily see that the way that we want it to be seen or we expect it to be seen, because there are definitely some things that all of us are doing and have done that deserve celebration. But again, we may not get it from the folks we want to get it from, and we may not get it in the time that we want to get it. And so that's definitely important and imperative for us to celebrate it ourselves. Whether it's a an actual celebration or not. And honestly, to that point, part of the reason why we're doing the event was because when I got the 850 credit score, I was like, I think it deserves a celebration. I was like, I'm gonna have an event. I don't even know who I'm gonna invite. I don't know where I'm gonna have it. I don't know what we're gonna do, but I just think it deserves a celebration. So I'm gonna create the celebration, and I think that this event would be an opportunity to celebrate. I mean, honestly, everything around finances, of course, but even the poetry, and how that in itself to me is a celebration because one, it's entertaining, and it's us, it's other people as well operating in a gift that they love to share, that other people get to enjoy, that we get to enjoy because we get to do what we do. But definitely, yeah, just want to even point back to that, recognizing how much time we have left. um, but yeah, knowing that it's definitely it is a celebration that we want to have for ourselves and for anyone who is able to come. And also, again, if you guys have some celebrations that you guys want to shout out, what you guys did, we're trying to do, are getting into, we definitely want to celebrate that because there are very few platforms where we say, we just want everybody to say what they've done with their money this year that you were afraid to do or you are proud that you did. And so let's have that type of space when we're there as well.
yeah, let's do it. Less pity party, more profit party. You guys get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, drop in the chat if you have something big. Let's throw a party. All the party takes is some woohoo, some sound, some music, and some celebration. And I'm down to throw emojis at everybody who wants to win this year. So get in the chat, share your profit party, share the great things that you have going on in the ways that you are championing, moving yourself forward towards being your best. And I think that should be a theme for this year. And so, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. The event is going to be amazing. Hopefully, fingers crossed, next episode, we'll be able to do some spoiler alerts and drop some more information about place, time, date, things like that I know you guys are like, what is this event they keep talking about? It's FinLit, it's Finta Be Lit, it's finances, it's literacy, it's poetry, it's party, it's family. And so I just encourage you guys to stay tuned and stay focused on those things for yourselves, because together we can do so much more when we get our own house in order. That's why you got to clean your baseboards. Clean your baseboards, balance your budget.
Right. Don't forget the baseboards. I wanted to do some poetry. I literally had my book earlier, and I don't know where I put it. But if you want to read something, I can read something, perform something, just to be able to give them a little more of a taste before April shows up.
Let's give them a taste. There's power in poetry, and poetry is profitable, as I love to always say. Shout out to my poetry mother, Georgia Me. She always says, I'm not going to let the devil in you stop the God in me. World-renowned poet, Tony Award winning, presidential award, deaf poetry star. Like, this woman's phenomenal. And that phrase that she says always just sticks with me. And I think that's what has made me believe in the power of poetry. So let's see if I have something really short. Okay, that was not short. Oh, this is short.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a lot of times people will say things and we don't understand why. It's like, why are you talking to me out the side of your neck? Excuse me. Go away. People, technology. People will say things and we don't understand why they're talking to us out the side of their necks. And it's like, last year I really got over it and was like, you know what? It's me. I'm the problem. And this is that piece. Especially when it comes to finances, because I'm a ball out regardless. And I'm done trying to drag y'all to listen and to care. You want to stay broke, be broke. But I'm woke and I'm not going to be broke, period. One of our biggest setbacks is being educated and highly delusional simultaneously, while also being loud and wrong. It's the idea of being convoluted into thinking we got it going on. It's me. It's me. I'm the problem. The one who never fails to speak, even when the words cut my lips like shards. The one who sings kumbayas of love, even though I know I had to fight to make it this far. The one who wishes that life was all unicorn parks and fields of dreams, but lives the reality that even the good life ain't always what it seems. I wish I could unsee. Wish often that I could unknow the corruption of this world and the mechanics of how to break down a soul. Sometimes I ponder the idea of not speaking, not thinking, not existing. Like, would the world really be different if I gave up on goodness, stopped caring so much, and did what it seems best to get by instead of trying to get along? I ask myself, what would I be without you if I gave into the temptation of doing wrong? In the quiet moments when rhymes don't come and I lose rhythm, I release the confinement of my flesh in hopes of discovering precious things that I've hidden. They say pride groweth before the fall, but I've never paid bills with humility or kindness. They say the world is a better place with me in it, and I believe this to be ultimately true, but sometimes I question the timing. Why couldn't I live in the times when all we had was struggle and honor, because survival mode doesn't feel fulfilling at all? Because what's the point of being the stand-up type if all you do is take the blows and prepare for the fall? Nah. I want a world where kids play in parks safely. Women don't worry about their safety. The government isn't shady, and people remember to watch what they say to me. I want that level of pain that stops before it comes to no trauma. I want voyages into villages with elephants, indigenous tribes, and llamas. I want good TV without the reality drama. But it's not the world's fault that I wish for a better world or my best self. Yeah, it's me. I'm the problem.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And it's a whole thing to be able to say. And that's literally what came to my mind that day. I was like, I think I'm the problem. I think it's me.
It's me. That's okay. It's fine.
Right. Because I honestly wonder if people were like, no, you know what? I have a problem with that too. Are people just like, I don't even care. That's not even what I'm tripping on.
Well, don't trip, because we are tripping, and that's why we're going on trips. We're gonna tell y'all where we landed later.
That's real. That's real. Okay, so honestly, I am like, again, like I said, I had the book. I really don't even know.
You got something. Snap it up. You got something.
Let me see. I don't even. So honestly, this was in September. I don't even know how I wrote this. So let me see. Uh, this is going to be real quick because we only have so much time. Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
Let me see. Okay. Is this screen was good. So catch us investing and exiting with interest. Blessed and highly favored, multiplying my paper because our Savior was more than just a saver, more like a sower of seeds, a pruner, not a grower of weeds. You know what I mean. Either it grows or it gets thrown with the thieves. Or thrown to the thieves. His grace is abundant, so is what comes from our seeds. We gonna scatter it, individual stocks to industrial averages. May these plants chase the sun from index to exchange traded funds. Take it from 2 talents to 3 to 4 and up, from being faithful with a little to being a ruler over much.
Come on. Come
Here's 12
on. It was so many captions in there. Oh, we'll talk offline because I need you to post several things as posts and captions, uh, statement quotes of the day. We need that. We need that broken down into posts of the day. I love it, and thank you so much for sharing. That was super dope.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you. And again, that was a while. Okay, so yeah. But yes, again, thank you guys for paying attention. Again, we'll be posting this, and again, be on the lookout. We're gonna be putting out the flyers and such and making sure that we are at you guys' spaces so that we can run into y'all and make sure y'all are there.
Yes. I'm so glad that you guys tuned in today. Make sure that you guys catch us on the other side. Stay tuned, stay blessed, stay focused on being your best, and I will see you at the top.